you could draw from there. So overall, yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say we'll see the first test that. I mean, Drew Holiday's a free agent this year, so you'd assume that he'd stay, but if they can't even get their own point guard to stay, that'll be an interesting subclass to see going forward. But yeah, so that's all I had to say about
No, that's fine. See, this is why I bring you on, because you know about former 76ers, where their habits are, where they're at. So I know you keep up with them.
I remember the trade of Drew Holiday, and we'll get into this further later, but kicked off the process, and I distinctly remember exactly where I was on the street in Philadelphia, actually yelling out loud, because it took me 30 minutes to buy into Hinkie. For the first 30 minutes, I was very upset that Drew Holiday was traded, and I remember exactly the door and the street and what street it was and what time of day it was when I passed out. Very, very weird moment, very distinctive moment in my life. So I love Drew Holiday. He's had them all the time.
And we will talk more about this after the break, because up next we're going to talk about all the trades that have gone on, and especially the one that upset Andy so much. That, again, he tweeted me this morning. He's like, man, you're not going to get good Andy today. You're going to get mad Andy. So I was like, all right, let's get this going. So we'll talk about all the trades, where Andy was the day the Trust the Process started. It's going to be a great story. So here we got some music. All We Need Odessa on the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Strone and Andy Sides on Spreaker Radio. And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Stone and Andy Sides, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's about 5:33 on the West Coast, 8:33 on the East Coast. So, getting right into it, we're going to talk about some NBA trades going on. The trade deadline's over, so the dust is settled. Everything's good to go now. So, the big trade that we're going to talk about here. And obviously, Andy, you can kick it off. Nerlens Noel going to Dallas for Justin Anderson, Andrew Bogut, and a couple of draft picks. Clearly, you're not the happiest person today about that. Again, and maybe it's because my misunderstanding of Nerlens Noel. I know he's been injured on and off the first couple of years in the league, but it seems that this is the season he was kind of picking up, getting things together, and he's only, 20 years old, or 21. So, I mean, what does this trade mean for the Sixers, and what is Dallas getting?
So just to clarify, he's 22. I think he just turned 22. So he's super young still. And like you said, he was injured his first year. But he is already, and I would say, top 5 defensive center in the league. He's elite. He's elite at getting steals. He's elite at blocks. He has, the best hands I've ever seen on defense for a big dude. Full stop, watching basketball, all my life. He's wonderful. He also, a lot of Sixers talk has always been, if Nerlens Noel can be like Tyson Chandler when he gets older, that'd be good. And I think he's getting to that point now. He's getting a little bit better on offense, a little bit better of a shot. So I think Dallas is going to love having Nerlens Noel. He's, like I said, super solid defensively. He's becoming better on offense. His biggest knock is, shooting. He's a terrible free throw shooter. Well, he's up to 70% this year. He was, he never had an outside shot. He can hit a, long 2, not a 30 yet, but a 15-footer. He's become proficient at least enough that you can't just leave him wide open because you will. He'll catch fire. So, Dallas made out like bandits on this. And I think that, having Nerlens and Harrison Barnes going forward is a really solid young core to move forward with as, they transition away from Dirk, whenever Dirk, retires. But, so Dallas, that was a wonderful trade. For the Sixers, it confirmed every fear that any process trustee had in that Brian Colangelo, who's the new GM for the Sixers, has no idea what he's doing. This is a disaster. So you mentioned that Nerlens had been hurt a little bit, but so his first year, which was I think 2014, 2015, it was the year that they traded Michael Carter-Williams. It was the year before they drafted Okafor. Nerlens had a very good year. He was in Rookie of the Year, running super solid defensively, like I said. Then they drafted Okafor. He was terrible. He was pushed out of position because Okafor can't play the 4, and they tried to play the 2 of them together. Nerlens had a terrible year last year. Asked for a trade this summer. Sixers said, no, we're going to keep you. And then in the past couple months have been really picking it up, especially as Embiid had been injured the past couple of weeks, and Noel was starting for him and playing really, really well. So, thoughts going into the trade deadline were, Sixers are going to trade Okafor, even if it's not for very much in return. That's okay because you get Noel. And going forward, you have Noel and Embiid, 2 very good defensive players. And then, Woj bombed us all, and everyone was sort of left stunned by this trade.
Yeah, I mean, look, it didn't make sense to me when you look at the pieces. Andrew Bogut's an expiring contract. I understand that from a Dallas perspective, not for Philly to pick them up. Justin Anderson, yes, he has issues in terms of assignment, but he's a great defensive player, is what he was out of Virginia. So, I mean, I could kind of see that, especially from the guard position. Again, I don't know what the guard position looks like defensively, but again, he does add some tenacity there. And again, one of the issues that we were talking about back and forth on Twitter earlier today was the first round pick situation. So it's a top 18 protected pick that that we talked about. So remind me what that means again, and how that plays in moving forward.
So it's a top 18 protected pick this year. So if the Mavericks, if Nerlens Noel blows up and they make the playoffs, and their draft pick is 19 or back, so 19 through 30 or whatever in the first round, the Sixers would get it. But if it's 1 through 18, the Dallas Mavericks keep it. And if they keep it, it becomes a second-round pick this year and a second-round pick next year. Like the Dallas second-round pick this year, the Dallas second-round pick next year would come to the Sixers. There's almost no way that they're going to drop out of the top 18. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs. If the season ended right now, they would have the 7th pick in the draft because they're like 12th in the Western Conference. I think that they just made it, I feel like they just made it top 18 so they could say, like, look, we got a first-round pick, even though it's never going to convey. Like, there's no way that we're getting a first-round pick this year from the Dallas Mavericks. So, yeah, it's just, you said Justin Anderson. I haven't watched him that much. From what I've seen online from people, is that, like you said, he's a 3-and-D type of guy, but he hasn't really put that together yet. And I also don't think he was playing very much in Dallas. I don't think Rick Carlisle trusted him all that much. And, just the value is really off. Like, 2 second-round picks and a young player who hasn't really done much for New Orleans, who is, as I mentioned, a very, very good, at the very least, defensive player in the league. It was very frustrating. Very, very frustrating day.
Yeah. I mean, look, I get it. New Orleans is a piece in what, is supposed to be trusting the process and getting the Sixers back to where they once were a couple of years ago. But again, I'm not sure. We'll see how it pans out, I think. Because again, New Orleans has had the issues before. Again, we saw him progressing, and he's 22. So again, I guess the ceiling's still available. And obviously, we already know what's going to happen with Bogut. He's probably going to be done at the end of the season and going to move on to free agency and see what happens there. But Justin Anderson, I guess, he's a work in progress. Yeah, he was a 4-year player out of Virginia. Again, he's a very 3-and-D type of player. So again, you almost maybe see his ceiling, but again, the NBA does take time for even 4-year players to get it together. And again, that first-round pick is definitely puzzling because, as you mentioned, it seems unlikely that Dallas is going to get in the playoffs, and that's 16 seeds right there. That's 16 teams already there. So unless they're the 9th team in the West, or it seems like it's just not going to happen. Or again, it's just not going to happen beyond that. So I don't know who wins this trade, really. I mean, Dallas probably for now.
I hear Dallas.
Yeah, probably Dallas for now.
Dallas, 100%.
But we'll see. We'll see how it pays off. I don't know.
One note, just to what you're saying, is that I believe Andrew Bogut's going to be bought out, actually. So they're just going to buy him out, and Andrew Bogut will sign with some contender in like a week.
Okay.
They were trying to move him along before the deadline, and they didn't find any buyers. So he's going to be gone, and we'll probably I know the Cavs have shown interest. I know Houston's shown interest. So
okay,
somewhere he'll end up on a contender with a bench body.
So there's another trade here from the Sixers. I guess it was last night. I don't know how much this makes sense for you. Irion Ilyasova gets traded for Tiago Splitter, along with Ilyasova and a second-round pick for Tiago Splitter. I really don't know what Ilyasova has done for the Sixers this season, if anything. But I mean, what are you giving up and what are you getting with Splitter?
So this is another reason why. So first off, for the Sixers who have this log jam at the 2 front court positions, every time they trade off a big dude, they get a big dude back. It doesn't make any sense. But Ersan has been pretty good this year. He started at the 4 for the majority of the year. He's a good shooting big. Doesn't really play much defense, but he's a good passer and make a good shot. The problem with him in terms of the Sixers is that he was an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. And I think that the reason they traded him, more so than trying to clear room for Simmons if he comes back, to have time for Dario Saric to play a little bit more, is that they didn't want to be on the hook to pay big money for a dude that's not really in the timeline of the franchise. Mm-hmm. So they traded him for Tiago Splitter, like you said. I think they got a couple draft picks, but I forget where and what those picks were. All indications are that the Tiago Splitter is just going to be a bench body to sort of mentor all the young bigs, and get them, make sure they're doing all right, and make sure they're not doing anything crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Again, these are minor trades at this point. It's just kind of little things here and there.